A couple of days ago, we had on Sunrise Daily, the DG of NAFDAC, and she did tell us about the banning of spirit drinks in Sachet. They've been given some time to effect this. Of course, you expect reactions. And one of those who have reacted is the manufacturers. They are talking about investment and jobs that could be affected. But how do you balance this with health? Because you only have to stay alive, especially because they said it's, running down to the youth. The youths are getting these sachets easily because it's more affordable than the bottles and all of that. So how do you balance the health dangers and the jobs that could be affected in all of this? Well, we have the managing director of MAN, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, Mr. Segun Kadri, joining us virtually from Lagos. Mr. Kadri, good morning and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm Director General, not Managing Director.
Director General, I thought that's what I said. I beg your pardon, it's Director General, DG. All right, Mr. Kadri. So your association has been talking about the possible loss of jobs and investments could be discouraged and all of that. But I mean, a lot of people are also weighing this side by side with the health hazard that comes with these sachets. I mean, it's not like the companies should not produce, but it's the sachet that NAFDAC is talking about.
Okay, so I think first, I'd like to thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to join you to exchange views. And all that we are doing is to build Nigeria in such a way that we have a healthy balance between consideration for business and consideration for the citizenry. So I think what NAFDAC is talking about is something that has to do with access to alcoholic beverage by underage citizens. That is those that are below the age of 18. So what they're actually talking about is not the environmental impact of the sachet or the plastics and so on that they are talking about. What they are saying is an issue of access. So what NAFDAC is trying to achieve is a situation where young people do not have access to alcohol, which they feel if it comes in smaller quantities, in smaller packages, they are likely to have access to it. And that's the contention here. What we are saying is that, yes, we have concerns for young people. I mean, MAN is a responsible business membership organization. We prioritize health above profit. We prioritize the well-being of Nigerians above profit. And I think the position we have taken has not distracted from this conviction and this principle. So we are on the same page with NAFDAC in terms of ensuring that underage people are protected. The only disagreement we have is the approach which NAFDAC has taken is patently unhelpful. It doesn't help the citizenry, neither does it help business. We are saying that it is better for us to have a fact-based scientific basis for taking action that will affect the well-being of the overall citizen. Not only the people, not only business, but what will promote Nigeria. And that is the conversation we are having here.
So have you looked at it as MAN, to see if you think this decision by NAFDAC is not being taken based on empirical evidence? Have you done that? Do you have data or anything to push to have an opposing view?
Yes, certainly, because we have been part of the process since the last 5 years when the agreement was signed. There was an interministerial committee that was set up. MAN is by its members, by DBAN, they are there. We have Federal Competition and Consumer Protection. We have NAFDAC. We also have the Ministry of Health. We have been engaged in a conversation that has mapped out plans which we have religiously implemented and spent more than ₦1 billion to be able to do education, to be able to put in regulations that will restrict access by underage people. We also have cooperated with them, and we are making progressive inroads into limiting this access. And we have evidence to show that we are achieving success. As a matter of fact, the committee itself commissioned a survey, a research into what milestones have been achieved. And what it showed is that a ban will be counterproductive and that restriction of access, improving on it, enforcing strict regulations, and setting tasking activities for all those that are involved in order to be able to achieve 100% restriction was online to be implemented. So we never imagined that with all this progress that is being made, a ban will now be imposed. So to answer your question directly, we think that the ban is not helpful because it's going to actually open the floodgate for illicits to enter into the market. There are sales of Paraga, which is the unwholesome alternative to this alcohol in PET bottles, in PET. So it is not helpful. It is actually being penny wise pound foolish, if I may use the word, because it won't lead to the achievement of your objective. The only thing is that you are effectively closing the shop of those who make wholesome products, those who you can regulate, those whose factory you know and you can have a conversation with them, vis-a-vis those that you cannot hold, you do not know where they operate, you do not know the composition, and you are also opening the gate for influx of those foreign ones that you have no control over their standards. So what we are saying is that if it is already in the market, you needed to be able to regulate and control it rather than ban. This is not to talk of the social implication of that. Everywhere in the country now is difficult. Mr. President is battling with how to improve on the situation of the citizenry. We do not need people out of job. There are 500,000 people that we are talking about here. And what we are saying is that rather than listen to or rather than accept the narrative that is being given, the fact is that the health of the people are not being jeopardized. There's no scientific basis for it on what is being alleged. And NAFDAC has not shown anything other than the general impression that if children take alcohol, they are going to suffer illnesses. Of course, even adults. If you take alcohol in excess, it will have repercussions. But you are not showing any evidence that they are having access to it, and that's what is responsible. If I may just tell you, Tramadol is far more dangerous. The PET bottles we are talking about, the space it will occupy in your pocket, which is what they are giving, you have more than 20 tablets of Tramadol. How do you restrict that? So what we are saying is that, is it wise? Is that the best thing to do? Are there no alternatives? Can't we have a conversation that allows you to progressively achieve what you want to achieve rather than putting people out of job? 2 days ago, the labor union and the NLC and TUC invaded my head office demanding that they want their jobs back, that the factories have been closed. And they didn't think that it was justified. I had to even appeal to them that they do not match on NAFDAC. And we'll be having this conversation trying to ensure that NAFDAC achieves its objective and we also achieve our objective, so all in the interest of industrialization in Nigeria and the well-being of the people.
So how do you hope to approach this now? What do you do next? I know you're having a meeting today. We intend to be there, obviously. What do you hope to do? And it sounds like manufacturers and NAFDAC have not been talking. Perhaps that's where the problem stems from.
Yes, we've been engaging, but I think NAFDAC has taken the end of the matter from the beginning. So they have determined that they are going to impose the ban. I mean, because it was said that in 5 years, we are going to have a ban. So 5 years is here, we should have the ban. But they have discounted all the progress that has been made in the last 5 years. So our conversation has been, yes, we both agree on the end objective is to restrict access. But it is the journey to that restriction that is the issue. They believe that ban is it without taking into cognizance the negative impact is going to have on the people they want to protect, and of course on the businesses that are engaged in that process.
So, Mr. Kadi, do you have...
We are communicating.
Do you have, like, you know, a better, well-researched strategy to restrict, especially the youth, you know, from this, from easily accessing these spirits?
Of course, we do. And we have been doing it with NAFDAC. I mean, that is the beauty of this case. We are on the same page with the measures that have been taken. As a matter of fact, most of it was determined by NAFDAC itself. The Ministry of Industry, the Ministry of Health, under the last Honorable Minister, did set up a committee that involved even the local governments that are responsible for issuing the off and on license. We had a scientific approach to this, and we were all on the same page, even with NAFDAC. And we were making progressive steps to achieve it. This is known to everyone, and we have expended more than 1 billion naira in terms of campaign, in on-site visits, in terms of deliberate restrictions, in terms of those who we certify as our distributors, including the education that we have taken to schools and so on and so forth. And they didn't even discount the fact that if you have things sold in smaller quantities, it then discourages people from taking it in larger quantities. All those things we have been doing together. And under this interministerial committee, we did commission a study that indicated that ban is not it. It could be counterproductive. Who is watching the massive smuggling of those items? Do you know the content? Is it not better for you to cooperate with local producers so that we'll be able to give you surveillance, we'll be able to give you market research, which you obviously don't have the capacity to undertake? Is it not better you cooperate with us so that jointly we'll be able to achieve your objective and also save businesses? These are tough times for Nigerians, and I believe that every regulatory agency of government should be alive to this situation we have and make the best of it. I mean, rather than demonize manufacturing industries that are doing legitimate business, and they are just bringing in models that would be able to improve the business environment. I believe the conversation should be more conciliatory, and we shouldn't take extreme measures, especially those ones that are likely to backfire.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Shegun Kadri, the Director General of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, and wish you the very best at your event later on today, where I know you will be delving more into this. We do hope you have more handshake, with NAFDAC and other stakeholders.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a delight. Thank you.
Thank you so much.